Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is again a great pleasure for me to host a new edition of Outlook, the foreign political program of Ludovica Television, the YouTube channel of Ludovica University of Public Service. Today we are going to have a very special guest through an internet link, Ambassador Francisco Ribeiro Telles, who is the Executive Secretary of CPLP, Comunidade dos Países de Língua Portuguesa, the Portuguese-speaking countries community. Executive Secretary, is a great pleasure for me to welcome you to the studio through an internet link from Lisbon.
Thank you so much. It's for me also a great pleasure to be with you, with your university, and to have a conversation with you to explain a little bit what's going on CPLP and the future of the CPLP.
You, Executive Secretary, know the Lusophone community, the Lusophone Commonwealth, I would say, in and out, because you've been ambassador to Cape Verde, to Angola, to Brazil, and lately in Europe, in Italy, before you came to this position. I thought I ask you about the balance of the 25 years of history of CPLP, because I think it has been a great success and a long journey if we take the fact that the member states were once colonies of Portugal. So how do you see the balance of CPLP?
Well, if we compare CPLP with other organizations, I'm talking about Commonwealth or the Francophonie, I think CPLP is a youth organization, only with 25 years of existence. Commonwealth is almost 1 century, and Francophonie it's going to celebrate around 60 years of existence. So it's for us, it's must take into account that we have only 25 years. It's composed CPLP basically from the former Portuguese colonies. So I think that what we achieved from the constitution of CPLP until now, I think it's very positive. Let me refer to you one of the main pillars of CPLP. It's the promotion of the Portuguese language, and if you compare the situation of the Portuguese all over the world 25 years ago and what's going on now with the Portuguese language, I think we achieve a lot. I think we are the fifth language in the world. We have the first on the South Hemisphere. The Portuguese the promotion and diffusion of the Portuguese language is growing everywhere. So if you take into account the UN estimates from the end of the century, around 500 million people will speak the Portuguese by the end of this century. And there is a turning point, because by the end of the century, it will be the African countries of CPLP, mainly Angola and Mozambique. Angola, well, UN predict that Angola is around 150 million people by the end of the century, and Mozambique 140 million. So it's quite an increase. It's very important to have this increase of the Portuguese language all over the world. Of course, we have also the Portuguese as working language in a few international organizations. I mentioned to you the Mercosul that involves Brazil, SADC that involves Angola and Mozambique, to number a few. I think when East Timor became member of the Asian group, that I think will occur next year, of course, Portuguese will be also a working language in the Asian group. So I think it's, in this respect, I think CPLP is doing very well.
What about economic cooperation? I think in this period of the very sad COVID-19 pandemic period, I think economic cooperation will be a key element to get the whole world community out of the difficulties. Now, there is a great interest in CPLP concerning other countries, and they can become observing states, like Hungary is one of the observer countries. How can CPLP help economic cooperation between member states and also with other countries?
As I told you before, the three main elements of CPLP are the promotion of the Portuguese language, the political diplomatic coordination between its member states, and also the cooperation in all sectors. Now we are trying to introduce in CPLP a new element, and that is the economic element. I think during the next summit in Luanda, heads of state summit in Luanda that will take place in next July, I think that we can create a new pillar that is very important for us, because there is a growing interest for CPLP to other member states in order to improve this sector. As you mentioned, and if we compare if you see the history of CPLP, in 2014 we have only around three observer member states. Now, with some candidatures that are on the pipeline to the summit of Rwanda, we will be around 30 observer member states. And we are talking about countries like the United States that present its candidature, Canada, Spain, Greece, Ivory Coast, and so on. I must emphasize that concerning the member states of the European Union, with all these countries, we are around 10 member states of the European Union will be observers of CPLP. And I think this is related to 2 or 3 factors. One is, of course, the Portuguese language. The second one is, of course, to have political diplomatic coordination. And the third one, I think, is the economic element that CPLP wants to establish. And I think it's mainly, the idea is that we can create in the near future a kind of an economic forum between companies and organizations, economic organizations of the countries that belong to CPLP.
At the Luanda summit, there will be an important topic also on the table, that is mobility. Do I understand correctly that this mobility agreement that is going to be decided on in Luanda is easing a little bit our mobility among member states? What sort of agreement is it going to be?
We are now discussing this mobility agreement. It's not easy because to have an agreement on that, because as I told you, CPLP is present in 4 continents. We have different levels of development between our countries. So the current presidency of CPLP that is came here did a very good job in order to articulate all these positions and to present to the head of state in Rwanda a mobility agreement. So I think this is one of the core issues of CPLP, because of course if we are talking about the promotion of the Portuguese language, things are doing well. If we are talking about the political diplomatic coordination, also. So, but I think that it's important that the citizens of CPLP can feel also that CPLP is important for them. And so mobility is in this regard is very crucial. Of course, we are not expecting to have some kind of agreement that exists within the European Union, because of course the European Union, all the countries have frontiers, so it's much more easier to have this mobility. But this agreement that we are trying to implement, I think it's a first step, or it's a turning point in order that people understand that they could benefit from CPLP. It's a very flexible agreement. Of course, if you have we don't need to have an agreement between the all 9 member states of the CPLP. If countries are ready, suppose Portugal or Cape Verde or Angola, they are ready to sign a trilateral agreement, they can pursue this agreement, and the other ones can wait in order to see if there are internal conditions to have this agreement. But the idea is to facilitate the freedom of movement of certain categories of persons on the first stage. We are talking about business people, we are talking about students, we are talking about research people, and so on. So this is the first categories that this agreement could facilitate the freedom of movement. But it's step by step, but I think it's very important to have this agreement in the summit of London.
Executive Secretary, the majority of the member states of CPLP is from Africa. I'd like to ask you finally about your views. What is the role of your organization in the development of Africa as a continent?
Of course, if you see the 9 member states that compose the CPLP, of course, the great majority is African. And when we are talking about one of our important roles, that is the cooperation in all sectors, including education, including health, including science and technology, defense, agriculture, public administration, and so on. I think the main focus is on Africa. We have currently different projects of cooperation, and we would like that when we have these observers countries became observers of CPLP, that they can also participate in these projects of cooperation within CPLP. So for us, the main focus, of course, is Africa. I think that concerning the pandemic, we are worried about the effects of pandemic in the African member states of CPLP, concerning some levels of unemployment, concerning the growing debt. We have to be to pay attention for this. But anyway, the idea now is to emphasize our work in the projects of cooperation within CPLP.
Ambassador Francisco Ribeiro Telles, dear Mr. Executive Secretary of CPLP, I'd like to thank you very much for your availability and discussing CPLP's role in different aspects. I do hope that either in your official or private capacity, we can once welcome you in Budapest as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. It is a great pleasure to be with you this morning. Of course, well, I'd like to go to Budapest as soon as possible. But anyway, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for the CPLP in your university. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.